How's it going, guys? It's been a long time. I don't have a camera anymore, so we're trying this on the phone for the first time. Okay. I've already had people contact me, tell me they're missing me. I'm sorry. The camera, which is over there, has broken. It's with all the flip phones and all phones and everything now. We do have a new project. There's a picture of it, obviously, because I'm not standing there next to it. If that looks familiar to anybody, Musty One just did one. Same year, same color, same everything. It's almost the same exact miles too. This has a little over 3,000, I think 3,300, 3,400 miles on it. Been sitting for a long time. It's actually very solid. What's wrong with it? The clutch. What a surprise. It seems like every one of them, the clutch is bad. Okay. As for condition-wise, paint's a little faded there. I think that's from somebody cleaning it. That should be gold in that area. But as for the rims and the spokes and the tires and the exhaust, everything is nice. Seat's original. Still intact. They do make a new cover if you watch Musty One. But I don't plan on doing any of that to it. Basically what happened is a friend of mine bought this thing a year, 2 years ago, whatever it was sitting forever. And they got it running, because it hadn't been running for a long time. They went to pulling on the clutch, and the clutch was stiff as can be. So they pulled on it a bunch of times, and they heard like a little bang, and the clutch pedal got free. That's the best way I can word it. And I already ordered all the parts and have all the parts for this. Basically what happens is the clutch goes through the top of the cover. If anybody watched Musty One, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, it has a little swing arm, and when it swings, it's on a little gear, and it pushes. And when it pushes a rod completely through the transmission case, pushes out on the outer, I would call it a piston, since I do automatic transmissions, but that's not what it is. It's technically a mechanical pressure plate. Okay, it's got 5 screws and 5 springs. The difference between that and an automatic transmission clutch is, an automatic transmission clutch, the springs release the discs, or they push the piston back. Okay, when you stop applying fluid to it, it bleeds off. Okay, on these, the 5 springs actually keep it applied. Excuse me. And when you pull the cable, it comes back down, goes into that corkscrew, a rod comes over, and the end of the rod has a button on it, and it pushes on that, and it allows the discs to be free, which are floating in oil. And that allows you to shift the gears. But what happens is, as it sits, they actually corrode, even though they're under liquid. Oil is corrosive, especially when it starts to break down, believe it or not. Okay? And all the little contact areas actually corrode to the steels, so when you pull on the lever, the pressure plate, the outer pressure plate, can't release, and it breaks the little lever. Okay, unless you free it up. Now, the only thing I will correct is, and this is only because I do automatic transmissions, the little grooves that are in disc plates, okay, are not there to lubricate the disc at all. They're there for one reason and one reason only. Okay, if you've ever taken something and put liquid on it and laid it on a smooth surface, you can't lift it up off. It's like hydrostatically locked to it. So they put grooves in there, so it's like an air brake. Okay, so when you go to lift it, air can come in and release it. Okay, so when you, on a car, for example, an automatic transmission, when you release the pressure and the springs push the piston back, you don't want a delay in the clutch releasing. Well, there actually is a delay, but that delay is actually timed to the next clutch you put on or apply. Okay, but you don't want them to stick to each other. Okay, so those grooves actually allow air to come in, fluid to wing out, and they just fall off. That's it. So just picture putting something with a suction cup and putting a pinhole in it real quick, and it just releases. That's what the grooves are there for. Also, when you apply the clutch, if there is any fluid in the way, it allows it to come out. So, Basically, the steels are always reusable. You could sand them in your machine when you do them on something flat. You start with emery, you could work it down to something where there's a slight texture on it. You're good to go. So what did we order? I got a pile of parts sitting here and the rest came today. We ordered a new clutch cable. Oops, I'm pointing at the wrong thing. We ordered a new clutch cable coming down so we don't kind of worry about anything. Okay, the little lever, we ordered a couple of those to actually make them NOS. Well, there's some NOS ones out there. They're really cheap, $3, $5, whatever it was. So I did a couple of those little levers, okay? Where the lever goes, it's just like my finger, but it's a really, like a corkscrew. That piece of metal, that doesn't wear. And the reason it doesn't wear is it's riding on plastic, a plastic insert. The plastic insert that it rides in, I grabbed another one of those, even though the one I have is good. Okay, so that lever will be new. The cable going up to will be new. The little ball at the end of the cable, which is separate, will be new. The corkscrew will be new. The rod coming across is going to be okay. Then when you get to the clutch side, all the clutch plates, which if there's 5 of them, will be new. And I ordered a new exhaust gasket for right there. That didn't come yet. And in the process of him working on it, looking at the clutch, he took the tank off. And if anybody's familiar with motorcycles, there's these 2 little rubber little bungs, and you slip the tank in, and then you just put like a little rubber bandy here. He lost one of those things, no big deal. They actually make those new. And you have to take the side cover completely off and drain the transmission. So I ordered an NOS gasket, not aftermarket. Like I said, working for a car dealership, I know the difference between factory and aftermarket parts and what you're going to deal with and not deal with, or what you don't even want to deal with. So a lot of times, if I can get something factory, I will. Other than that, it's a CT3, it's called, which means it's a 73. A little different than the CT1. CT1 doesn't have a decal Yamaha. It's got the inset badge. And the tank is shaped different. It looks like this front and back looks very similar. It's got a screw-on cap. This has a little flappy thing. Runs. Everything's good. I drove it with no clutch. You know, with the clutch fully engaged, if you want to word it like that. It's got the original tires, original exhaust, original, everything on there is original. That's the original seat, fenders, handlebars, everything is original on that bike. So what happened was a week ago, I think it was, yeah, not this Monday, the Monday before, or the Tuesday, I walked into work and it was sitting right there. Okay, there's my toolbox right back there. I was like, wow, that thing is cool. I love it because it's gold. You know, I love anything gold. And the oil tank, which is on the other side of the exhaust, is gold also. If you can't see, it's a 175cc, 5-speed. I was like, wow, that thing is cool. And the guy that works next to me, to this way here, says to me, do you like it? I was like, yeah. He goes, it's yours. I go, what do you mean? He goes, we got a couple of bikes at the house. We got to make room. He goes, I want it to go to a good home, someone that'll, you know, give it the love it needs and take care of it. I was like, you for real? He goes, yeah. He goes, take it. I was like, okay. What was I going to say? So there it is. So total investment so far with the pile of stuff that we got is we're up to $90. So I was trying to keep it under 100. You know, the budget's tight. But yeah, like I said, had it running. Everything's good. I put a premix into the tank. I was using the premix and the oiler at the same time, and this thing was smoking like you wouldn't believe. But runs good. Everything's good. The rims are actually rust free, which amazes me. He hasn't cleaned. He hasn't done anything. I have the mirror for it. The mirror is sitting in. You can't see the little bucket on the bench. Yeah. So, look forward to seeing this thing moving. I want to get it on the road. I want to register it, and I want to get my permit. and tool this thing around. Anybody that's on Facebook has already seen this thing 2 weeks ago. This is the Facebook picture I think I posted. So, and my goal is to jump 50 garbage pails at Arnold's.